Labor Day. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you guys and hope you're having a great weekend. But I just want to share with you something that's on my heart. And I've been thinking about this a lot. And that is stress, right? We're all talking about stress. That's actually one of the most common things that I'm hearing about from our practice members and people out in the world. You read the newspaper, you literally everywhere you go, all we see is stress. And I think stress is the problem with stress is that it is fear that actually generates our stress, and that fear is responsible for up to 90% of disease. So we have to learn how to let go of fear. That fear consciousness absolutely needs to change. It's this chronic fear chemistry itself that is the cause of the health problems that most of us have. So if we change our mind, we change our chemistry, and then you can be empowered to be healthy. So let's talk about this concept of how fear influences our biology. See, what we understand from the nature of epigenetics, which means that above your genes, is that the composition of our blood is what controls our genetic activity. And that composition of our blood, the chemistry of it is based on the perceptions that we hold in our mind. And when we start to hold a perception of fear, we release different chemistry into the blood to prepare us to protect ourselves from fear. And that fear that we believe is going to attack us is going to affect us. So when we hold a picture of fear, one of the things that happens is we start to get mobilized. We start to get mobilized to forget our body to respond to that fear. And most of us know that mobilization is related to our adrenal system, that fight or flight system that's built into our body. So what happens physiologically when you're experiencing fear in your mind is that the brain releases elements such as things like stress hormones, such as cortisol and norepinephrine, as well as other agents that affect your immune systems, like histamine and cytokines. You guys have heard with COVID, they have the cytokine storm, right? So this is the collective response of the chemistry of fear in your blood and in your body. And what this does, it redirects the flow of energy in our body and our blood that's controlling it. It literally, the stress is controlling the energy, because that blood that's being redirected is where all the nutrients and our resources are at. So normally when we're not in fear, the blood is more or less concentrated in our viscera down in this area. The organs that actually keep our body, help it grow, help it repair itself and maintain itself. So the blood is literally energy that is being used to maintain our biology. However, if we live in fear, such as that old concept of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, the question is where do you want your blood to go? Well, since the adrenal system helps us in a fight or flight, to fight something or run away from something or just to survive, that adrenal system is going to redirect that blood flow in your arms and your legs, because, well, those are the organs that you use to escape fear. So the first thing that happens when fear is present in our mind is that stress, your mind releases stress hormones, and those stress hormones go into our blood, and they actually cause the blood vessels in the gut to shut down. Why? Because we don't need energy to grow and maintain our body when we're being chased by that tiger. So when the blood vessels in the gut squeeze shut, the blood's now forced into our arms and our legs, which are necessary for that fight or flight response. And that's when people are in a state of fear. They experience what's called butterflies in their stomach, right? That those butterflies in the stomach is just a physiologic consequence of the stress hormone causing blood vessels to squeeze shut in your gut, pushing the blood to your arms and your arms and your legs. And that's just because where we need the energy when we're under stress. So number one, when you're living in fear, you shut down the growth and maintenance of your body. And as you prepare that for fight or flight, there's another effect as well. And that's when those fear hormones are put into our body. We want to conserve all the energy possible to run away from that tiger. So we shut down any mechanism that's just not necessary in that fight or flight response. This is particularly important in regards to your immune system. It's an external alarm system. The immune system texts you of threats on the inside of your body. The system uses a lot of energy, as well as you know, because if you've ever been sick, how much energy do you have? Sometimes you don't even have enough energy to get out of bed. So the significance here is this. Is that when your stress hormones are released in the body, they conserve the energy for fight or flight, and the stress hormones shut down your immune system. This is vital because the usage of that energy by the immune system is so high that it would interfere with your fight or flight response. So a significant aspect of this is not only do we redirect the blood away from our viscera, which maintains our body, we also inhibit the immune system, which is protecting the interior of your body. And that's not really a problem if you're running from a saber-toothed tiger. 10 minutes, you escape the tiger, and then the system can return to normal. But what happens in chronic fear, the fear of life, of every day that we're not being supported, the answer is this: we're chronically shutting down the maintenance of our body, which opens us up to infections and inflammation and other things like cancer. And while we're open to infections, guess what? Now we shut down our immune system, which is protecting us from those infections. So when I say that we shut down the growth and maintenance of the body, we shut down normally the growth and maintenance of the body for 10 minutes to escape from the tiger. That's not a problem. But in today's world, stress is not a 10-minute thing. It's a 24/7, 365. And what is the consequences of a long duration of living in fear? Cancer, heart disease, chronic disease, any disease that you can come up with, it's going to be as a result of prolonged stress. And the answer is the body starts to become sick, it starts to fall apart. And now it turns out that stress, the problem that fear generates, that stress is responsible, like I said earlier, for 90% of all diseases. And so while we're thinking that it's our genes that are causing our diseases, no, it's the consequence of stress and the chemical consequences of shutting down growth, and shutting down our immune system. Look, the immune system opens up the body for, like, when that immune system shuts down, it literally opens your body up for failure. And this is why disease is a result of chronic fear. So what's the relevance of this? We have to let go of fear. We have to recognize that most of the fear is just programming and people scaring us with beliefs about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And when we hold those beliefs in our mind, those beliefs are translated into the chemistry of stress, which then impacts the body in a very negative way. So the consciousness needs to change. We have to stop fear thoughts. We have to switch into healthier thoughts. So if there's a picture of fear, this is actually in your mind, this is actually debilitating you, and it's breaking your body down and suppressing your immune system. So in your mind, every time a fear comes up, if you change it into some other story, change it into some other vision, change it into visions of joy and happiness, or anything you would rather do, because the fear itself is the cause of the illness, and the fear is the result of consciousness. It's not actually real. In most cases, it's just a belief. Like, think about most of our fears that we have. They're just beliefs. Many times they're not even real. And we look back on the fears that we had as a kid, they were just as false as some of the fears that we hold today. So if we change that belief surrounding the fear, we're then empowered to return back to a healthy, vital system where the blood's flowing back into the viscera, maintaining us and removing that inhibition of our immune system, right? And in this process, that we can then live a life full of health and happiness, especially when you recognize that over 90% of, like I said earlier, of the diseases facing us on this planet are all coming from fear. So it's up to us. You can change the fear, but you have to consciously redirect that fear and change it by replacing it with thoughts of, like I said, love and joy and health and happiness and all those wonderful visions, because in that mindset, the chemistry is going to actually enhance your vitality. It's the chronic fear chemistry of yourself that's the problem. This is the cause of our health issues, is how we see the world. We got to change our mind. And if we do, we can change our chemistry. And if you do that, you're going to be empowered to survive and thrive. Look, guys, this is Dr. Osborne. I just want to thank you for taking the time on a Monday to focus on your health, because you got to remember, you're the one that's protecting your health. You know, there's people out there that have been given a diagnosis and they're told that maybe they have a terminal diagnosis, and the doctor says maybe you have a year to live or 2 years to live. And you buy into that diagnosis. Guess what kind of chemistry you're going to produce? You're going to produce fear chemistry, and you're going to suppress your immune system, and you're going to break your body down. But what if, just what if, you actually change your mind and you change your thinking? You stop thinking about getting rid of your disease, but how to become healthy. Look, if you have questions, leave them down below. I'd love to get back to you. You can direct message me if you have questions on this. But once again, this is Dr. Osborne. I love you guys.